All right. Good afternoon, folks. My name is Kurt Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. Purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if there's probable cause for those charges. Probable cause simply means it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred and more likely than not that you're the person that committed that crime. Of course, as you stand before me today, I presume that you're innocent of these allegations. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the proceedings unless and until the State Attorney's Office is able to prove the allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We'll set your conditions of pretrial release today. That means your bail or your bond. In most cases, you've had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit. I'll decide whether that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this afternoon. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you have not had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. And I need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. You all solemnly swear, affirm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Outstanding. When you hear your name called, please step forward to the podium. Thomas Brown. Afternoon, Mr. Brown. What's your date of birth?
1462.
All right, Mr. Brown, you're here on a couple of warrants. One was signed by Judge Heinemann, the other was signed by Judge Merritt. Judge Heinemann's warrant, he found probable cause for one count of attempt to acquire possession of a controlled substance by fraud, and Judge Merritt found probable cause for the same charge, different instance. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. State what you need to tell me.
A sell, manufacture, deliver, or possess controlled adjudication of guilt in 2014 on Sarasota. Driving with license suspended, adjudication in 2011. Leaving scene of the accident, adjudication in 2011. A refuse and DUI, adjudicate in Sarasota in 2011. Driving with license suspended, adjudication of guilt in 2009, adjudication of guilt in 2009 for a DUI. Driving with license suspended, adjudication of guilt in 08, a DUI in 08, and the grand theft adjudication of guilt in 2007.
Thomas, I have an address to you on Howell Avenue here in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
2 years.
You have a job these days?
Disabled, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thomas, I'll set your bond at $1,000 on each case. That's a total of $2,000. They'll be back in court on the 12th of April. If you get out, it's very important that you contact the public defender right away, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Justin Dolan. Afternoon, Justin. What's your date of birth?
Yes, sir. 052192.
Justin, I've got possession of marijuana, possession of drug paraphernalia. State you haven't. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself? You want to hire private counsel? Would you like the public defender?
No, that's okay, sir.
Say that again?
No, sir. I don't need. I'll
okay.
myself.
State what can you tell me?
Your Honor, he has no prior convictions, but he does have Holmes and Hillsborough, tampering with a witness, false imprisonment, and a battery and criminal mischief pending.
Okay. And Justin, where you been staying lately?
At a motel. I've only been out here for 2 days, sir.
Okay.
I've never been to Springfield before.
What brought you to Hernando County?
Work, sir.
Okay.
I was only going to be here for like 4 days.
What kind of work?
I was installing windshields out of Glass America.
Right. I'll set your bond at $500 on each count. That's a total of $1,000. I'll have you back in court on April 3rd, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Timothy Donbaugh. Afternoon, Tim. What's your date of birth?
7/20/89.
Tim, the charge is battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to the charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD. State.
No prior history, Your Honor.
Okay. And Tim, I have an address for you on Mead Drive in Spring Hill. Is that where you're living?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
I've been there for approximately 6 years now.
All right. And how long has Tracy been living there?
Probably about the same amount of time.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
Yes, I do.
What do?
I'm a window cleaner for Window Genie.
Okay. All right, Tim, I'll set your bond at $50. Condition of the bond is that while this charge is pending, you can't have any contact with Tracy. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message. Don't contact her through any social media. Don't have a third-person contact her. Don't go where she lives. Don't go where she works. Don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine contacting her, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and we find out about it, your bond can be revoked and you can be held without bond until the charge is resolved. It means no contact even if she wants to contact, so if you answer your phone and hear her voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see her, you should turn around and run the other way. You need to understand that she cannot drop the charges against you. That's not her decision. She may go to the state attorney's office and tell them she wants the charges dropped, that she's not interested in pursuing this. But that decision ultimately belongs to the assistant state attorney handling your case. So unless that person or the judge on your case or your lawyer tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they are not dropped. I also have to hold you until 4 o'clock this afternoon so that if she wanted to serve you with a civil injunction, we'd know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact because in that case, not only could you get your bond revoked here, but you could get new charges for violating the injunction. As far as that address on Mead Drive goes, as long as Tracy is there, you'll have to stay someplace else until we get this case resolved. You can go by one time to collect your clothes, your toothbrush, whatever you need for wherever you plan to stay. But to do that, you must contact the sheriff's office first. They'll meet you there with a deputy who'll stand by while you get your things and get going where you're going. I'll have you back in court on April 3rd. Very important in this case, Tim, that you contact the public defender when you get out, all right?
All right, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brandon Gray. Well, Brandon, what's your date of birth?
4/1/85.
Brandon, I got a couple issues today. First, I have charge of criminal mischief and resisting without violence. There's probable cause for those. And it looks like, Brandon, you're currently on probation. Is that right?
Yeah.
And there's a probable cause arrest for a violation of probation. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. Bond on the VOP, of course, will be no bond. That's coming back April 12th. I'll leave the bonds on the new charges per the schedule, which is $1,000 each. Those are coming back on April 3rd. The public defender is going to come to the jail and see you and talk about your cases, okay? Thank you. Christopher Iacino. Afternoon, Chris. What's your date of birth?
8/9/88.
All right, Chris, the first thing I have for you is a warrant that was signed by Judge Neal. He found probable cause for a battery being domestic in nature, felony witness tampering, and domestic battery by strangulation. And then there's new charges of possession of marijuana, possession of paraphernalia. There's probable cause for all those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, or would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
Okay, I'll appoint the public defender. State.
Judge, he has no convictions. He does have his brother present, and I think he wants to address something. I don't know.
Okay. Did you want to address the court, sir?
Yes.
Come on forward then. Come on forward.
Thank you, sir.
Raise your right hand for me. Yes, sir. Solemnly swear affirm tell truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
State your name.
Anthony Icino.
All right, Anthony, what do you want to tell me?
The victim in the case no longer lives at the residence. I know. I just don't want no issues. I just want to let you guys know if he does bond out, he'll be under my watch, and I'll vouch for him or whatever may came.
Well, we're gonna set him some bonds.
Yes, sir.
So he'll have bonds.
All right. I just wanted to make sure.
Right. And when I tell him about no contact, I think you were listening to that.
Yes, sir.
It never is specifically a no contact with a place. It's with a person. As long as that person isn't in a place, he can go there.
All right. Sounds great.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Christopher, I have an address for you on Markham Avenue in Spring Hill. Is that where you were living?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
6+ years.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
Yes, sir. I work in a shrimp factory.
Okay. All right. On the two new misdemeanors, I'll set the bond on those at $500 each. Those are coming back on the 5th of April. On Judge Neal's warrant, I'm going to set the bonds at $1,000 and $2,500 and $2,500 respectively. That's a total on those of $6,000. Your total all the way around is $7,000. Condition of the bond on the warrant case is that you have no contact with Nanette Erling. Did you hear me explain no contact earlier?
Yes, sir.
Can you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Very good. And then we'll have you back in court on those on the 12th of April. Very important, Christopher, that when you get out, you contact the public defender right away, okay?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you. Brett Morgenstern.
Yes, sir.
Afternoon, Brett. What's your date of birth?
10/4/1982.
All right, Brett, I got a warrant for you, or two warrants, I guess, out of Bay County for failing to appear. One is on a driver's license suspension, and the other is a violation for curfew. The judge that issued those warrants said bonds of $2,500 and $1,500 respectively. That's a total of $4,000. I can't change those because they're out-of-county warrants. If you could post those bonds, you can go back to Bay County and find out when they need you in court. If you can't post them, I'll give Bay County 5 days to come get you. If you're still here in 5 days, they'll bring you back to see me, and I'll find out what the holdup is, all right?
All right, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Stanley Shaver. Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
52259.
Stanley, you're here on a warrant that I signed. You failed to appear in my court again on driving on a suspended license. Mr. Larison, is this something he can resolve today?
Yeah, you can resolve it with time served.
All right. So, Stanley, if you want to resolve this case today, you can plead no contest. I'd sentence you to 2 days in the county jail, credit 2 days served, and this would be over with. You want to do that?
Yes, sir.
Very good. You understand by entering a plea, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent, the right to have a lawyer represent you, but you want to give up those rights so we can take care of this today?
Yes, sir.
Case number 18CT3346, that's the charge that you drove. Knowing your license had been suspended or revoked, how do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest. Pardon me?
No contest, sir.
All right, very good. I'll accept the plea. Find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the county jail. Credit 2 days served. Fine and court cost is $488. $100 for the 2 days in jail, but that takes care of it, sir. There's nothing else keeping you in the jail. You will be released today, all right?
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Good luck. Gregory Smith. Afternoon, Mr. Smith. What's your date of birth?
7/25/73.
All right, Greg, the first thing you have here today is a warrant I signed. I found probable cause for 1 count of battery. Then we have 4 new charges, 1 count of criminal use of personal ID, 1 count possession of cocaine, 1 count drug paraphernalia, 1 count false name to law enforcement. There's probable cause for those. As to those charges, Greg, you want to represent yourself? You want to hire private counsel? Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, sir.
I'll point the
For the misdemeanor.
Excuse me?
For the misdemeanor cases, they're misdemeanor cases, right? Can I resolve those today?
No, the battery you can't resolve today because it's a battery, and the other case has felony cases in it, so it all has to go to felony court.
Yeah, because my understanding the battery was a misdemeanor battery.
The battery is a misdemeanor, but we can't resolve it at first appearance because the alleged victim has to be informed that a plea might happen.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right, very good. Steve?
A battery adjudication in 2018, HTO Willis 2013, improper exhibition of a dangerous weapon adjudication 2012, assault adjudication 2012, a Willis adjudication 2009, controlled substance adjudication in 2008, flee, elude, resist without, and a Willis 2007 adjudication of guilt, possession of cocaine, grand theft adjudication of guilt in 2007, a false name to law enforcement officer adjudication in 2005, as well as an adjudication for a battery.
Greg, I got an address for you on Easy Street here in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
No, sir.
Where do you live now?
I live in Hernando, 27278 Black Avenue, sir.
Okay, how long you been there?
30-some years.
You have a job these days?
Yes, I work with DAB Construction, sir.
Okay. Okay. On the battery, I'll set the bond at $500. Condition of the battery is that you have no contact with Mr. Hickman. Did you hear me explain no contact?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Very good. That case is coming back April 3rd. On the new cases, as to the criminal use of personal ID and the possession of cocaine, I'll leave those at $2,000 each. As to the drug paraphernalia and the false name, I'll set those at $500 each. So that's another $5,000 total. So your total all the way around is $5,500. Those cases are coming back on the 12th of April. If you get out, Greg, it's very important that you contact the public defender's office right away, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ryland Wagoner. Afternoon, Mr. Wagoner. What's your date of birth?
11/8/1997, Your Honor.
Okay, so, all right, Ryland, the first thing I have, I've got a retail theft, and then I have a 2 counts of battery on a pregnant person, 1 count of criminal mischief, and 2 counts of resisting without violence. There's probable cause for all 6 charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire a private counsel, would you like the public defender?
Public defender, Your Honor.
Oh, point.
And the battery on a pregnant woman, that's not, that was told at the report. I didn't put my hands on that woman. It was written down and taken in the report, everything.
Okay.
So there shouldn't be.
Okay, well, there's probable cause.
Okay,
State,
yes,
what's the history like?
Missile into dwelling, vehicle building, or aircraft, 2016 adjudication where a prison sentence was imposed. As well as criminal mischief over $200 adjudication in 2016. A burglary of a structure, 2014 adjudication of guilt. A petty theft, 2014 adjudication of guilt on citrus. Adjudication of health or obstruct without violence in 2014. And I noticed I had multiple contacts with law enforcement this month, 3 times. We requested GPS.
Just because of the multiple contacts?
Yes, and going in and out of the county.
And sir, I have an address here on Ambassador Avenue in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
No, Your Honor, I live in Homosassa.
What's the address?
12 Colubrina Court, Your Honor.
Okay.
With my mother.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
Yes, Your Honor. I work for Major Drilling.
As to the 2 counts of battery, I'll set the bond at $2,500 on each count, $2,000 on the criminal mischief, $500 on the 2 resistings. On those cases, condition of that is that you have no contact with Ms. Long. Did you hear me explain no contact?
Yes, Your Honor. Could I ask for a bond reduction? Because on the 18th, I'm going to an inpatient facility program in Newport Richey called Baycare, and I would still like to meet that program's requirements. My insurance covers the facility and everything.
Okay.
So if you could lower
the bonds are where I think they belong. So
okay,
you understand the no contact provision? Yes?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Also going to hold you up until 4 p.m. so that if you wanted to serve you with a civil injunction, we know where to find you. I'll have you back in court on those on the 12th of April. As to the retail theft, I'll set the bond at $500. That one's coming back on the 3rd of April. If you get out, make sure you contact the public defender right away, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. Once again, what's my total bond?
The total was $500.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Carlos Wilson. Well, Mr. Wilson, what's your date of birth?
7/31/93.
Carlos, the charge is lewd and lascivious exhibition. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll point the PD. State what you tell me.
I'm showing a drop robbery in 2017 out of Hillsborough County and a battery adjudication in 2017 out of Pinellas County. A 2011 wear hood or mask on street, 2011 adjudication of guilt. A robbery, guilty adjudication of guilt in 2010. Adjudication withheld in 2010 for trespassing. A adjudication withheld in 2009 for petty theft. Burglary of a structure adjudication withheld in 2009 out of Tampa.
And Carlos, are you serving a sentence or are you waiting for some case to go to court?
I'm in federal custody right now, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. Then I'll set the bond. Obviously, it doesn't matter a lot. I'll set the bond at $2,000. As far as contact goes, I'm going to leave that up to the folks at the jail staff. They'll determine how that's going to go. I'll have you back in court on the 12th of April on this charge, okay?
Yes, sir. Is there any way possible I can resolve it today?
I can't, unfortunately, Carlos. It's a felony case, and I can't do those at first appearance.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that should be it, right, Jill?
Yes, sir.
All right.